Welcome to the Software Report, a leading information source on software companies and solutions. In this episode, we speak with Alex Bouzari, Chairman, CEO, and co-founder of Data Direct Networks, or DDN, a company specializing in large-scale data infrastructure for artificial intelligence and high-performance computing. DDN has supported over 500,000 GPUs and has enabled tens of exabytes of data across enterprise AI, analytics, and research workloads. Its technology underpins critical operations for organizations such as NVIDIA, NASA, PayPal, and many others. Alex co-founded DDN in 1998 alongside Paul Bloch to address the data bottlenecks in emerging supercomputing environments. Today, the company's technology underpins data operations for more than 85 Fortune 500 companies across sectors including financial services, automotive, and healthcare. I'm your host, RJ Lumba. We hope you enjoy the show. If you like the episode, click to follow. Alex, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today.
It's a real pleasure, RJ. Looking forward to it.
So I think what's really interesting is that DDN has been around since the late 90s.
Yep.
And it's been growing and been an active technology innovator in this whole kind of ecosystem, hardware, software. And it seems like maybe in more recent years, it's really come to the forefront. Maybe I'm wrong. You can give me a little bit more about the evolution of the company. But today it's intertwined, it seems, with the AI revolution, and it's becoming front and center. You recently brought in capital earlier this year from Blackstone, $300 million. Your partnership with NVIDIA is a deep and broad partnership. So maybe to start off, for the benefit of our audience, tell us a little bit about that journey that DDN has been on from the early days up to today.
Sure, absolutely. So we started out pretty much like NVIDIA did in high-performance computing. So we were solving these massive data challenges that government agencies and enterprises had in extracting value out of data. So they were using these large supercomputers, and they did not have the data processing capability that would keep up with the supercomputers. So we developed technology that solved that problem. Very quickly, I think we became the market share leader for those types of use cases. At some point, we were powering 60 out of the 100 fastest supercomputers in the world. And then about 8 years ago, NVIDIA was looking at standing up a reference architecture to demonstrate the capabilities of their GPUs in solving AI. And that's how our journey pivoted and expanded from high-performance computing into AI. And by the way, 8 years later, NVIDIA still uses DDN exclusively as the third-party technology internally to power their own clouds and infrastructures. So I think it was a natural evolution because as you get to solve complex problems for high-performance computing and supercomputers, well, AI exhibits many of the same attributes. It's very, very large amounts of data, as you can imagine. I mean, we're seeing it for the models that are getting built by OpenAI, ChatGPT, by xAI, Grok, and so on and so forth. So it's very large amounts of data that have to be processed in real time. So these are very complex problems that organizations who come from high-performance computing can solve easily. So that's been our journey. I think it's been an evolution from solving one type of very complex problems to solving similar problems in a market which is much larger and is growing much faster.
And you have a data intelligence platform, and I think the way you've been communicating where you fit is in the stack as well as above the stack. Can you help explain what that means? So in the stack, where's DDN?
Yeah, so think of it as we are to data what NVIDIA is to compute. So NVIDIA has developed GPUs, which sit in data centers and greatly accelerate the processing of data in order to gain insight. So they do that in the stack, which is in the data center, but they also do it above the stack. So above the stack refers to those use cases and those enterprises which have software stacks that they're using, in essence, to gain the insight, which will give them a competitive edge or will give them a better set of services and products for the consumers or the organizations that they serve. So likewise, we have developed a data intelligence platform which sits alongside NVIDIA's GPUs and makes NVIDIA's GPUs perform far more efficiently in a smaller footprint in the data center and with lower power consumption. So that's the in the stack enablement. Because if you ask anybody today, what are the biggest challenges in AI, they will tell you it's three things. I don't have enough GPUs. I don't have enough data center space, and I don't have enough power. So DDN is addressing those challenges by, one, making the GPUs run much faster, much more efficiently, so you need fewer GPUs. We do so in a smaller footprint in the data center, so you need less space in the data center. And we do it with significantly lower power consumption, so we lower that barrier. So that's in the stack. Then above the stack, it's making the models run faster, for instance. So, XAI is one of our customers. We're powering more than 100,000 GPUs in that data center. The ability to bring in data, and we're talking about more than 1 trillion elements in the data model. It's huge, huge, huge numbers. And just very quickly have that model learn in order to deliver value to consumers is very important. So that's the value above the stack. And for AI initiatives to be successful for enterprises, for governments, for consumers, well, you have to lower the cost and you have to accelerate the outcome so that it's as real time as possible. And that's what DDN does in essence.
And as I understand, a lot of today's largest corporations are using DDN. I think the stat is that I heard is 7 out of the 10 largest financial institutions, DDN is employed. And does that mean it is across all of their functions or where they're using NVIDIA? How would you kind of explain the prevalence of DDN throughout the financial industry?
So typically, the reason why financial services has been an early adopter of AI is that, well, as you can imagine, financial services organizations have very complex models. They run those models with market data in real time in order to extract better insight and make better recommendations in terms of, what their investors should be investing in. So the models are very complex, and the edge that financial institutions have is the ability to deliver better insight faster with more data. So that's why you see many financial institutions, and those are hedge funds, high-frequency traders, banks, and so on, are embracing AI, are investing heavily into NVIDIA GPUs, and as a result, are using DDN because DDN helps accelerate insight to data, which translates into better returns for their investors. So that's pretty much where we sit. It's the business enablement and the financial enablement of AI, as opposed to, I would say, the simpler problem, which is efficiency gains. I mean, you see people talking about AI, well, I have a customer service organization, and now I'm going to fire half of the people on my team, and I'm going to implement AI. That's not what we do. What we do is create business value and financial value for organizations so that through AI, they can be more successful, as opposed to just taking jobs away and replacing people with technology.
Would love to understand a little bit about your management team and maybe your co-founder too, and how you all came together.
Sure. So Paul Bloch and I started the company back in the late 90s. We've known each other for a very, very long time. We went to college together. That's where we met and we became best friends. And then, we started working together. I think we're very complementary in our skill sets and our capabilities. But at the end of the day, look, it's all about the team. I think we've put together a top-notch, world-class team on the engineering side, product side, go-to-market, finance, infrastructure. And I think the ability of any organization, and especially in AI, to outperform and deliver better value to customers is the quality of the team and how well the team works together across all functional areas. So, the philosophy at DDN is it's all about customer delight. We wrap ourselves around our customer, and every function in the company needs to work towards delighting customers. That's the only thing that matters to us. Delight the customers day in, day out, deliver more value to customers than anybody else will. And they will continue to buy from you because you're delivering better business outcomes and better financial outcomes than anybody else. So that's how the team is structured. We have added lots of people in the management team as the company has grown, especially over the last several years. The company has grown significantly. We're now approaching the $1 billion mark in terms of the financial profile of the company. And so it's key to continue to expand, enhance, and add capabilities to our team across all functional areas.
And related to this expansion, as referenced earlier, you brought in significant capital, and it seemed as though that was like the first big influx of capital. Perhaps you didn't need external funding previously.
Absolutely. We've always run the company with a focus on the bottom line, running it profitably. Again, I think if you really focus on customer delight and you deliver more value to customers than others, then automatically you will be able to run the company in a financially positive mode. So that's what we were focused on for many, many years. DDN has been profitable for a long, long time, more than a decade from the early years. But last year, as AI started expanding, we started getting approached by more and more organizations, financial organizations, strategic organizations saying, hey, we want to be part of your journey. And our question always would be, what value do you think you can deliver other than capital? Because capital is not something that we need. The company is generating enough capital to sustain its growth rate. And Blackstone came to us with a very interesting approach. They said, look, the way we do things, we invest in industry pivots. We identify industries where something fundamental is going to change. We research that industry very, very well, and we place strategic bets. We do not spread our dollars across lots of companies. And so we've looked at AI, and we feel that in AI, there are two areas where there will be significant opportunities for growth and therefore for financial rewards. One of them is the whole data center and cloud side. And they said we've selected CoreWeave. And CoreWeave, just had a very successful IPO. The stock is on fire. The company is doing extremely well. And they said the other area is data. So I think they saw it as data intelligence. And they said, we can help you expand and accelerate our growth and get you ready for the next phases of your journey. So that's how we engaged with Blackstone. And the relationship has been phenomenal. They have actually done what they said they would do. As opposed to making promises and not delivering, they've actually over-delivered in being very wise, strategic advisors. And because of the network of organizations they're involved in, they've been very helpful in opening doors for us and putting us in front of the right people so that we can deliver this value-add message to a larger set of customers.
Given the compelling nature of what your value proposition is to a lot of corporations out there, assuming the constraint isn't demand, like to your growth, to your company's growth, what is the constraint to really just quickly accelerating, expanding the business?
Sure. So I think the constraint is in multiple places. The first one is many organizations by now are aware of the fact that they should do something about AI. And of those, I think a large number are somewhat at a loss as to, well, what is it that we should do with AI that will generate substantial value? So I think one of the areas where AI adoption can get accelerated is making it easier for enterprises, for organizations to understand how AI can benefit them strategically, business-wise, and financial-wise, and making the deployment of AI in their organizations as transparent and seamless as possible. So we've developed a software layer which basically sits in our overall data intelligence platform that ensures that organizations, whether they consume AI in their own data center or at a hyperscaler, like let's say Google or Oracle OCI, or in what is called an NCP, these are neo cloud providers such as CoreWeave, that experience and that value add is transparent and seamless. So that's one area. The other area, I think government, especially looking at what's going on in the geopolitical landscape, are increasingly finding that they should protect themselves and they should preserve their cultural heritage. So we're involved in lots of government sovereign AI initiatives worldwide. I mean, this is from Asia Pacific to Europe to the Middle East to the US, where it's building out AI infrastructures in order to benefit their nations. The constraint there is the time it takes to build these data centers, the time it takes to bring power to these data centers. So all these things are being worked on by everybody collectively within AI. And I think the industry is certainly growing very, very rapidly. Looking at the rate of adoption at some of the AI frameworks, I mean, look at ChatGPT, look at Grok, the rate of adoption, how quickly these things are happening. But I think little by little, we will see enterprises embracing AI as the ease of use increases, as the return on investment gets lower. All of this will accelerate. So it's a long-term journey. I think we're in the very early phases of it. It's extremely exciting because it's moving faster than anything I've ever seen. I mean, this industry is operating at a speed. I always call it unreasonable velocity because Jensen at NVIDIA is pulling the whole industry at unreasonable velocity. And I think it's a very, very exciting time to be in technology because we collectively are creating an industry where there is no precedent. So you get the opportunity to be creative and add value in ways that enterprises did not think was possible. So it's very gratifying. It's really a phenomenal time to be in this industry.
We're entering the tail end of the conversation, but before I ask the two final questions, I'm curious, your educational background is phenomenal, Caltech, MIT, Stanford, and engineering focused. Did you ever foresee being an entrepreneur and CEO of a big company?
Look, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I think Paul Bloch, my partner, always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I mean, we met at Caltech, and within half an hour, we're like, yep, we're perfectly aligned. This is what we want to do. Because I think you really get to, if you can do it well, it's a lot of hard work. I think it's part luck for sure, being at the right place at the right time in the right industry. It's being able to attract the right talent, building the right team who embraces your vision and works alongside you to create all of this a reality. I think it's extremely exciting. You get to deliver true value to organizations. You get to invent things that have not existed before. And I think you get to put your brains to use. If you do it well, you also create lots of jobs. So it's a great, great thing. I think being an entrepreneur is a great thing. Now, the key thing, I think, is the earlier you start, the easier it is, because the more you wait, well, now you have a family, you're married, you have children, responsibilities. And so starting early, I think, is the right way. It's always my advice. Start early. What do you have to lose? It doesn't work out. You can always go and do something else. Start early. If you have the passion, you need the passion.
Wonderful. Another question before I enter the final two is I recently saw an interview, and I think it was you and Jensen, and Jensen was wearing his, traditional black attire. You had this wonderful green suit on. And every time I've seen a video of you, you've had another amazing outfit on. Is it all from Italy? Where does your attire come from?
So, I love to design. It's a way to disconnect my brain from technology, but at the same time, there's creativity. So I design lots of things. I mean, I design furniture for the house, I design clothes, I design lots of things. I don't do it to sell because then you have all the headaches associated with that. I'd rather focus just on DDN AI, but it's that. And now speaking of Jensen, Jensen has a lot of those black leather jackets. It looks like he's always wearing the same one. But it's not the case. He has lots of them. They just happen to be very similar. But if you look closely at pictures of Jensen, you will see they're all somewhat different. It just so happens that I guess I'm more colorful. And he always tells me why and where do you find the time? I'm like, look, I disconnect my brain from this. And when I come back very refreshed. And he said, well, I just work 24/7 on NVIDIA. I said, well, yeah, because NVIDIA, you're much larger. So you have a much larger set of things to focus on. So you can just circle through. DDN, it's basically data intelligence. We're not doing all the things that you're doing.
Well, the fabrics and the color combinations are incredible.
Thank you.
Last two questions. One is, can you tell us about a person who's had a profound influence on you?
Look, Jensen is unbelievable. Jensen is unbelievable because he combines three things, which is extremely hard. He has very long-reaching vision. He can see much, much further than pretty much everybody. And I've met, you name it, I've met lots and lots of people. Jensen is remarkable in just the accuracy of his vision in an industry which is moving so quickly. So he has that. Then he has the ability to break that down into very, very simple and profound statements which resonate with customers. For instance, I'll give you one example. I remember one time, he was in India and, he was basically talking to them about sovereign AI. And he said, would you rather sell wheat or bread? Right now you're selling wheat and somebody's turning wheat into bread and then they're getting the profit associated with bread. Why don't you make bread? And that is so simple, but so profound. So that's number two, the ability to take very complex things and really simplify them in very powerful ways. And the third one is this incredible ability to execute at very, very high velocity. He literally pulls the industry at the speed of Jensen. So he's remarkable. He's my hero. And he's so nice. He's such a nice guy. He's such a nice person on top of everything else.
Last question. Can you tell us about a charity, cause, or other endeavor that you're passionate about?
Well, it's not clothes related, but things having to do with art. I'm very passionate about art in general. I think art is something that many people maybe don't care enough about. Everybody's focused on, I guess, bigger things. I think art and beauty, preserving that for generation is important. So I tend to get involved with art-related areas, whether it's museums, opera houses, ballet companies, and so on. Because, these are the things which help people step out of their daily challenges that they might have and dream. So I think it's important to help preserve. So I'm very passionate about it.
Alex, thank you so much again for taking the time. It's been a great conversation.
Thank you very much, George. I really appreciate it.